What's up, guys, and welcome to another video. And today we are reviewing Black Adam. And honestly, now I looked at the Rotten Tomatoes score. By the time of the recording of this video, it's currently like in a 49% on Rotten Tomatoes. What? And I saw the movie, and honestly, to be honest with you, it wasn't that bad. Like, it definitely didn't deserve a 49%. Like, the average score I would give it is like a 60 to 70% at like the most. Alright? Anyways, and by the way, you know what's freaking crazy to me? Is that this movie, you know what? I just want you to take a guess. Now you may be asking, how long did this movie take? It was probably announced like 2 years ago. Nope. It's not 2 years. It's not even 5 years. Not even 7 years. No. This movie was in development hell for 15 years. They announced this movie all the way back in 2007. Bro. And people are like, oh my god, I hope my infant sees this movie by the time in 2009. Literally by the time this movie came out, that infant is probably getting into its teenage years now. Because by the time this movie came out, everybody was just in their teenage years. It's crazy to me that we live in a world where movies could be in development for so long. Because the reason why Black Adam was delayed for years was, one, because originally with Shazam, it was originally going to have an origin story with Shazam and Black Adam in the same movie. But they decided not to do that because it will just rush everything in, and then they decided to split the two into their own franchises, and then, building up, and then eventually they'll, meet each other. Alright? Since it's been set up in previous films. Honestly, because one of the biggest criticisms that this movie gets is that it feels like something out of the early to mid 2000s, in that it's so cliche that it's like a hero origin story. To be honest, I do like the 2000 vibe. Because, listen, this is coming from someone who has grew up with, like, superhero movies that came out in the 2000s. And I still love them to this day. Like, Spider-Man 1, first of all, the Spider-Man trilogy, even the MCU, because it started in the late 2000s, The Dark Knight, etc. So I don't mind, early to mid 2000s CGI, because to me, I get a lot of nostalgia just by seeing that, because honestly, I gotta be honest with you, this year has been a pretty good year for DC. Because you had Matt Reeves' The Batman, which was freaking amazing. Then you had DC Super Pets, which I haven't seen, but I've heard a lot of good things about. Or surprisingly not bad. And finally, number 3, and finally this movie. It's like, finally, after months of Warner Brothers with the constant dumb decisions, they finally did it. after months of dumb decisions, it was definitely worth it, because Black Adam was not that bad in my opinion. Like first of all, here are my complaints. And the complaints I have aren't as big, but they're still, a bit of a problem. First of all, the character of the Atom Smasher. Nothing wrong with him. It's just the suit. It's just the mask of the Atom Smasher. His mask looks way too similar to Deadpool's. It just looks like somebody, photoshopped a Deadpool face and spray painted it blue. That's what it looks like to me. I feel like they could have done a lot better with that design, to be honest with you. They should have went with the comic book accurate, Atom Smasher. With the woman, or Cyclone. Not that much complaints. Now you have Hawkman, which the Justice Society of America has been kind of played out as the main or minor antagonists at first, but then they, become support characters. And to be honest, out of everybody in the Justice Society of America, to me, Dr. Fate was probably the one that I liked the most, because Dr. Fate is essentially the Doctor Strange of the DC universe. And Dr. Fate, first of all, is played by Pierce Brosnan, who played James Bond in 4 movies, which James Bond is a series that I will cover eventually, because the reason why I'm not doing it now is because, one, there's so many James Bond movies that if you see me, take a break. So that's why I'm probably gonna split, the series into multiple parts based on actor. Okay? That's how it's gonna work. Because there's 26 movies. That's almost as much as the MCU. But anyways, back onto this review. Honestly, I thought Dr. Fate was I would love to see Dr. Fate have his own solo movie, but judging by the ending, spoilers, he dies. Yeah, did I forget to mention that this is a spoiler review? And trust me, we're gonna get over that post-credit scene. Oh yeah. And then you have Amanda Waller here, as in a couple of scenes, because she's essentially the Nick Fury of the DC universe as well. And I've been hearing that there's talks of an Amanda Waller spin-off show, which I might watch, because honestly, the last few months has just been, to be honest, not really, the last couple of months have been kind of disappointing to me, because Marvel, you gotta work on your game, Marvel, because so far, I like DC, and you know what, and this is what Marvel should do. They should give their characters, their own movie, not make it, just to go to the post-credit scene. Don't do that still. It's just, I want you to make the story good enough as some one-off, and then you'll tease, something for the next other project or something. It's Phase 4 Marvel. I'm sorry, but coming from me, who was a huge fan of Marvel, I think Phase 4 has got to be the weakest, has to be the weakest phase out of all the phases, because Phase 4 has so far overall been a huge disappointment in my eyes. Because the Disney Plus shows, I've seen all the Marvel Disney Plus shows, and most of them I just find to be just okay or just downright terrible. Not terrible, just okay. It's kind of been a common theme throughout this phase for Marvel, is that it's just okay. The only legitimate good Marvel Phase 4 movies I've seen is Spider-Man No Way Home and Shang-Chi maybe. But other than that, and as for the Disney Plus side of things, I would say Hawkeye and Loki. Overall, Phase 4 was a huge disappointment. Sorry for being a little bit off track, but back to Black Adam. First of all, what I thought of Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam. He's essentially being The Rock. It's essentially the equivalent if you gave The Rock superpowers. And this is what would happen. And boy, this Rock is not messing around. How he interrogates people, for example, he literally, we have two guys here, right? And he's basically we need to interrogate them and question them. He's basically okay. And then he literally takes them up in the sky. It's just, this dude does not give a crap, bro, about anybody. It's just hilarious, man. I'm just laughing at the fact that this dude does not care. It's he literally punches a guy 1,000 feet up in the air just because he literally hit him with the metal, thing, to hit people with. He literally bends it. He doesn't even move. He doesn't even break a sweat, bro. Because honestly, Black Adam's origin, I thought if this was some origin story type movie, I think it's a pretty solid one. And honestly, and I'm gonna downright say it, Discovery did not say DC. No. The news probably would say it, but the reality is, Discovery did not say DC. No. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson say DC. If it wasn't for him, we would still be in this bad situation right now. Alright? Because I like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And honestly, I didn't think it was that bad. At first, I thought the movie was going to be terrible. Because one, the posters look terrible. It looks like someone went to Photoshop and just put a bunch of people into one photo or something. That's one complaint. Second point is that the trailers don't really interest me, really. Until I saw this movie. Alright? And then we get to the post-credit scene. Well, this is the Spider-Man No Way Home moments. This is the Spider-Man No Way Home here. Black Adam, gets a call from Amanda Waller, and, she basically is man, I still not trust you. Essentially, he now lives in a giant prison now. In a giant prison cell. And the villain, I thought the villain was a pretty solid villain, I would say. He's essentially pretty much a very powerful being, but other than that, Because overall, I thought the villain was pretty solid. Okay, just okay in my eyes, but still pretty good. Now let's get to the post-credit scene. Now this is the moment that everybody's going to be talking about by the time of the recording of this video. Like Black Adam, after he talks to Amanda Waller, says, "Oh, now you're in a giant prison," and then Dwayne or The Rock or Black Adam, destroys the hologram device. And then you see this fog, this weird clouds, right? And then slowly, you see this silhouette, right? This another guy. You think it's, Black Adam, right? No. It turns out that there's another guy wearing cape. And I knew it was going to come in, because I knew it. And then Dwayne Johnson finally did it. He brought back Henry Cavill as Superman. Thank you, Rock. Okay? This definitely, if Superman didn't show up, this movie probably could have, lost maybe a few points, but this is bonus points. Boom! Because overall, this movie gets a 7. I would say a solid 7. Alright? And honestly, to be honest, recently, they announced that Henry Cavill will be we're essentially getting Man of Steel 2. And hearing that Henry Cavill's gonna get his own Superman trilogy, boy, I'm all in for that. Plus, Matt Reeves, Batman Universe, is gonna do multiple movies and shows based on Batman's Rogues Gallery. Bro. But sadly, the bad news is Santana, the project for that is canceled, but I didn't care for that anyway. Anyways, what I thought of Henry Cavill turning Superman, I'm excited. Okay? Now, we're not entirely in the woods yet, because I still don't trust DC and Warner Brothers just yet. Because, a bunch of amazing updates and this and Constantine 2, and now this movie. It's just, you have a long way to go, Warner Brothers. Oh my god, it's almost 20 minutes. It's 18 minutes. So, in conclusion, overall Black Adam, in my eyes, on a scale of 1 to 10, gets a 7 out of 10. Now, I want you guys to stay tuned, because this Halloween, on October 31st, I'm going to do a special video reviewing Hocus Pocus 1 and 2. Both coming out the same day. Okay? Stay tuned for the Hocus Pocus reviews. Okay, stay tuned. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.